Hello everyone, I hope life is treating you kindly. I'm Lubomira and thank you for joining me today. Welcome to all my crafty friends, new and returning. I always look forward to this time of the week when we get together for some crafting fun. If you're new to my channel, I'm glad you found your way over here and I invite you to check out more of my videos. I love sharing my projects with you all and I appreciate you taking the time out of your busy schedule to spend a few crafty moments with me. Please remember to like and subscribe if you haven't already. By hitting that little bell, you'll get notified every time I post something new and you'll never miss out on any of the crafty goodness. In today's video, we'll be revisiting that lovely fall-themed decorative cardstock. Many of you were really enthusiastic about the card I created with pre-made items in a previous video. If you recall, there were a lot of images to work with when I was done cutting everything out. I thought it would be fun to make another one of these cards since they are beginner and kid-friendly, and someone mentioned card making with their grandkids in one of the comments. I'm thrilled to hear that this hobby is being introduced and passed down to another generation. It's such a great pastime to get kids involved. In this card, I played a little bit with texture to create an autumn sunflower themed card. I'm excited to share this project with you, so let's get into the video. To create this card, I used the Dollar Tree fall themed decorative cardstock, a stamp set for the greeting, some burlap trimming, and a paper pack. I found this orange piece of cardstock in one of the Dollar Tree paper packs. I've used these packs in a number of projects, and I have to say that the variety of different papers you find in them is pretty impressive. As for the shape and size of the paper, that will vary. I find that there are pieces that will make standard background panels, and for those that are smaller, they make nice accent pieces. The pieces aren't always squared properly, so cutting them to straighten the edges may be necessary. The orange piece I found wasn't large enough for a full-size panel, but it was more than sufficient for a matted background. I trimmed it to create a 5 by 3 3/4 panel. This paper does have texture to it, but I wanted to add more by embossing it. Plaid is a popular pattern during the fall, and I wanted to recreate a little, if not perfectly. Using my scoring board, I went ahead and scored some diagonal lines 1/2 inch apart across the entire piece of paper. I do diagonals because they are more forgiving when it comes to aligning things. When I was done, I went ahead and tilted the paper in the opposite direction and repeated the same process. The result is a diamond checkered pattern. Not exactly a plaid, but close enough. When my brother saw it, he said it reminded him of the pattern on an ice cream cone, which it definitely does, and it makes me think that it would go well with an ice cream themed card too. Anyway, next I stamped the word hello from one of the Dollar Tree sentiment stamp sets. I particularly like this hello because it's a nice size and it contrasts well with words written in script font, which I'll be using later on in this card. I used black pigment ink and stamped the word several times to get a nice impression. Normally, I don't really stamp directly on embossed surfaces, but the one I made isn't as dramatic or as detailed to make stamping on it difficult. After stamping the word, I applied clear embossing powder to the wet ink and heat set it with my heating tool. For those wondering why I seem to always heat emboss my sentiments when creating cards, it's more of a precaution than an aesthetic. I tend to be a messy creator and I end up getting ink on everything. Since pigment ink tends to dry much slower, embossing the word with clear embossing powder guarantees that I won't get inky fingers and smudge it. The orange panel seemed a little bit thin to me. Since I wanted to pop it up and then build on top of it, I didn't want it to sag or even worse, rip. So I decided to reinforce the background panel with another regular piece of white cardstock. I cut the white cardstock to be a hair smaller than the orange panel off camera. I added the double-sided adhesive to the back of the white cardstock first and then attached it to the back of the orange panel. Before starting to put together the card front, I took one of the banners from the fall-themed decorative cardstock and trimmed it using my trimmer. I didn't like the edging around the autumn, so I narrowed the banner and then changed its shape by removing the fishtail finish. You can of course do this with scissors. When I go back and I'm editing these videos, sometimes I think I've grown too attached to my fingertips, the way I cut with this guillotine. Anyway, now the fun part, putting the card together. The Dollar Tree has several ribbon options out there, and among them I found this burlap trim. It has 3 different patterns, and according to the packaging, each piece is a yard long. That's a lot of card wrapping if you think about it. I ran the simplest piece with the wavy pattern along the left side of the panel and secured it to the back with double-sided tape. I think burlap just screams fall, and it's a nice way to add some rustic texture to a card. I added some foam tape to the back of the panel to further secure the burlap and add dimension to the finished card. I attached a piece of craft cardstock to a white card base using liquid glue. Craft cardstock is another way to add even more texture to a project, and again, it works so well with the fall theme. I also enjoy using craft cardstock during the holidays. Once I had the matte panel in place, I attached my card front to it using foam tape. I placed my autumn banner beneath my stamped greeting, and using a T-square to make sure it was straight, I attached it to the card front using foam tape. To balance the card's design a little, since all the previous elements are towards the left of the card, I attached the sunflowers to the right side. I took a moment to arrange them and finally glued the largest of the two directly to the panel, and the smaller I popped up using some trimmed down foam squares. I added some clear Nuvo crystal drops to the center of each flower. When it dries, it'll create a nice shiny element to the flowers. But you can never have too much shine. I added some iridescent dewdrops to the card for some extra shine. And that's it for this card. This card came together quickly and it definitely gives off autumn vibes. We utilized mostly pre-made items to create a lovely custom card, which I'm sure would be greatly appreciated by anyone that receives it. And if not appreciated, we're sending cards to the wrong people, my friends. What do you think? Let me know in the comments below. Friends, thank you for spending some time with me today. I always look forward to sharing my videos with you, and I hope you enjoy them too. Don't forget to like and subscribe if you haven't already, and please leave me those comments. They're such an uplifting part of my week, and I so appreciate every kind word. I hope you'll join me next time for another project. Until then, have a lovely week, and I hope life treats you kindly. Take care. Bye.